Thanks for coming in. A boatload to talk with you about, but we appreciate your time.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here, Matt. Thank you.
Let's start with education, the biggest chunk of the state budget. The plaintiffs in the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit have hinted that last year, even with the teacher raises, have amounted to window dressing. Schools have complained about equity council requirements, especially charter schools. How do you move beyond increasing teacher salaries into whatever phase 2 of this looks like?
So I think that that's part of the misnomer. You don't move on, you keep building and investing. It should be strategic and meaningful, and you should get to the outcomes that we all desire, right? Which is we're graduating more of our students, that they're ready for college, they're ready for work, they're ready for life. When we do that, and we will, then we will hit that benchmark, and there'll be other challenges for us to do even better or to create more flexibility in a public education system. So you're never going to be done, but you should be smart, strategic, efficient. So we're asking for 4% in teacher raises again, what we want, and we want to make sure that the issues that the court identified with the plaintiffs, all fair. We have no argument that New Mexico's failing its children in a number of places, minority students and special education. So we're continuing to invest in those strategies and programs. And then also we want to get a head start, if you will, which is we got to do better for infant mental health, home visiting, family support, all the way to early childhood education. Unless we do that, you're always trying to catch up, and the advocates are pointing that out, that we are so far behind, we're catching up. I'm looking for a universal strategic plan that solves these problems for a lifetime.
Can you sell that to the court?
I think we have already.
The early childhood stuff, not just education?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and I want to be careful here. We've gotten out of 2 major consent decrees that collectively were over 60 years of court-ordered work. The Duran consent decree in corrections and the Jackson, which is the developmentally disabled issues about whether or not we were serving that population appropriately in New Mexico at the Department of Health. We've settled every behavioral health lawsuit and challenge about eroding behavioral health. So we're serious about doing when the court says we've done something wrong, get it fixed. But notice we don't have a consent decree in education. We should not. Education policy should happen at the state. The implementation of that should happen locally with local controls, parental involvement, school boards, school districts. That partnership, I think, is sacrosanct. We just need to give them the tools and resources. They need the flexibility to get it done, and we need to make sure that they're accountable. We're going to keep investing in that strategy, and I really believe it's going to pay off, including now, as you know, we're asking for college. We want free college for 2- and 4-year degrees, and we feel really confident that we're going to get the right kind of attention out of this legislative session.
The Speaker of the House, Brian Egolf, wanted much larger raises this time around for teachers. Is there wiggle room there, or do you think with the budget that you've crafted and what you've seen come out of the LFC, which is also lower, that you're about as high as you can go?
Well, there's a whole lot of unmet issues that need to be addressed, and we also want to make sure that we hit those accountability issues. Now, I want to be cautious. There's nothing in my administration that suggests that we are doing enough to make the classroom a productive place for educators, right? They get kids who are homeless and hungry and sick, and they're crowded, and they don't have the right special education support. And it's been a long time since we invested in them. We weren't paying for their professional development. So we're going to keep building. And the big issue really is this legislative session. We think, not quite ready yet, we think we have a strategy to lower their health care costs, which I committed to on the campaign trail. And you can do all the raises that you want, but if they're out-of-pocket costs every time you do that, for everything else, that there's nothing to take home, then you can't keep that home in your family. And so we've got to deal with that. So I want to make sure that it's broad. It's not K through 12. That's critical, but you got to go at the front end, early childhood. You got to do college. We want to make sure that we're building the economy. These are the twin pillars of making sure that we're not stuck in a poverty cycle. Right? It can't just be a one step. It's every session. These ought to be the twin pillars.
Education and economy.
Education and economy. And then we got to deal with public safety and crime. We got to deal with the environment.
Sure.
Right? We've got to deal with any number of healthcare issues. So if we're going to do all of that so that every New Mexican feels like we're moving in the right direction, we feel very confident about what we've asked for in education. And everyone who's advocating for more respect for educators, good for them. It gives us a lot to talk about during the session.
You've asked for $35 million for your opportunity scholarships, which
Right.
is the filling in the gaps
Right, free college.
for that college fund. An estimated 55,000 students. The math that we did says that's $636 a student. How is that helpful?
Well, because it's building on things that we already have, right? So the lottery scholarships aren't gone, but we know that we don't get as much out of the lottery fund. It also means that they pay a portion, and that portion hasn't been enough. And you got to go right out of high school, and that's not available for a whole lot of New Mexico students, including adult students and veterans who want to go back to school. So we're still going to use those resources. We're going to use the opportunity scholarships, and in addition, we're going to make sure that we don't leave on the table any federal support, like Pell Grants. So we took the balance that we still need to make sure that all the tuition costs are covered, no matter where you choose to go, 2-year or 4-year schools. That's how the math works.
Okay. And this will be good for associate's degrees
Yep.
as well, trades?
2-year,
things
4-year
like-
trades, all of it.
Okay.
All of it. And again, you want your families, your kids to stay here, then make college free.
Early childhood, that's maybe the one issue in the budget that everybody saw, wow, there's a big difference between what you think it's going to take to get that department up and on its feet and what lawmakers think. How do you account for that? It's about a $50 million difference. How do you account for that?
Well, so for viewers, and they're going to say, oh, the governor got in the weeds. Going to get in the weeds. I want everyone to take a sip of coffee and water and get ready. So the LFC, so the legislative arm that does the analytical work, used, in my opinion, I mean, this is fact, but I think that they didn't do it on purpose, but didn't quite look at where we already are in terms of child care assistance. So last administration was at 150% of poverty. That means that you got a subsidy for child care. We pay one of the highest per capita costs for child care. You want to improve child well-being, we need safe, quality child care. You have to do it. We got sued before I became governor, so they went to 200%, never had the budget. I stayed at 200%. I need that money in the budget. That's $26 million that the legislature in their analytical work did not account for. Now they're aware of that. I think we're not going to have a debate about that. And then another $15 million is for wage subsidies. So we talked about teachers, K through 12. Well, if you're paying minimum wage to early childhood educators, it's tough to say to them to do the professional development and to be part of the best high quality system if they're underpaid and undervalued. Those are the two big sticking points, not about whether or not the department ought to move forward. And in fact, there's complete agreement, and we've got a Senate bill out of the Senate Finance Committee and a House bill for a $320 million fund that starts to create, in the same way we fund K through 12, we'll have a fund that grows, that gets us to $285 million in annual investments that will pay for 50,000 3- and 4-year-olds to go to school.
Are you predicting that you will need additional infusions down the road into that fund? Because the estimates are what, $25, $30 million a year maybe coming out of it if you funded at 320, 325. That's, a third or a quarter of what some of the advocates have been asking for in the other way with the constitutional amendment.
Correct. It is part of a strategy.
Okay.
So the fund isn't just taking one-time monies and getting into a fund. It also, the legislation looks at we've got a bunch of what we're calling now rainy day funds. I mean, that's something that New Mexico, unlike a whole lot of states in the country, has been really effective at, which is when we have a boom and when we've got an economy that gives us some resources, we set them aside. So that's what we're doing with this early childhood fund. But then you got to find a vehicle actually to keep funding it. There's another fund. Representative Larrañaga was looking at excess oil and gas fees in Texas and put them into another rainy day fund. Well, it is exceeding by far all expectations. So we want to take that excess, not the whole thing, and we want that then to be a recurring vehicle to build the early childhood fund. And New Mexicans should expect that we'll continue to debate that the land grant permanent fund has some room to also help build early childhood education. As we do that, you will get to having 285 million or so
That's your
available.
target. Okay.
That's the target. And we think we get there in about 6-8 years, and that's a reasonable framework for getting it done and getting a quality, accountable, productive early childhood education system in the state.
Okay. I want to pivot a little bit to crime, not unrelated, because education and crime are closely related.
It's all related.
Sure, sure. So walk with me here. Both Republicans and Democrats have pushed to tighten laws, and often when we say tighten laws, we're talking about getting rid of loopholes for conviction or increasing penalties. And there are 5 bills on your call right now that have that. We've talked about tweaking pretrial release to be able to presumably keep more people in jail ahead of conviction. You've said it's not right to keep people in jail because they're poor. The Constitution doesn't just guarantee them their freedom, it guarantees them a defense. Raul Torres, the DA in Bernalillo County, got $6 million extra last year. The judiciary has languished for a long time. Pay scale is very low for judges. Courts haven't expanded. That creates an incentive for plea bargains, creates an incentive for prosecutors to overcharge, and then bargain that down.
And it also erodes relationships, which means this state has done a whole lot of this. Matt, crime is your fault. So you do that to the police, you do that to elected leaders, you do that to the public defenders, you do that to the prosecutors, you do that to the judges. Well, I'm tired of that. I can understand that having inequities, and we never funded the entire judicial system, has been part of what's led us to a very unsavory, unacceptable situation, not just here in Albuquerque, but statewide. So it's time to stop doing that and resolve these issues. And so you bet, we're looking at ways where more money for police officers. We did raises for police officers last year. We did equipment and vehicles, making sure they have the personnel. Same thing we want for judges, and we want to invest in the judiciary. And I want to see what happens with the Supreme Court Commission. Everything I know about the pretrial detention tool. And I know that, again, we're in the weeds. So how do they look at risk factors? If you're a habitual or high risk,
prior.
That's
Okay.
right, you don't get out. So now we're not looking at income. We're clear. If you're a risk at all, you have to stay in jail pending your trial. That's how the tool should work. That's how it should work in every state in the country. Where these tools are being used by judges, they seem to work better than they work here. There's a whole...
Also by prosecutors.
Yes.
Because the court has studied this, and they said that it turns out, especially in the Second Judicial District, that prosecutors aren't asking for pretrial detention enough.
No, they're not filing the right motions. And so everything is wrong. We have to tackle all of it, and I have no patience, and nobody does anymore, and they shouldn't for any of it. So I want to know what the judges say, and we'll know in March. We're going to make sure that this tool gets used appropriately. We have to mandate that every single DA has the tools and resources. Go to court, make the case, make it in every district, and we want extended enhanced penalties for high-risk crimes, including using a gun in the course of a felony. That really changed the public safety issues in states like New York, and I think that they are meaningful here.
I want to keep rolling here. A lot of what you and I have talked about has been kind of longitudinal, looking at things. If you spend the money now, you're going to see the results in a decade or 6 years, 8 years, something like that. The one area where that is not the case is climate change. Scientists are in broad agreement that there needs to be action now. Such a tricky, sticky wicket, as they say for us, right? Because we're rich right now because of oil and gas, primarily oil. And replacing them doesn't bring the same kind of economic benefit. How do you make that pivot right now? Where is that program?
So I think we've made it. Now, you're going to say, oh, you haven't if you're still getting $1 billion in oil and gas. But if we want the world to be carbon neutral, then you got to show that it's cheaper, it's available, and this is a state that's going to lead the country in exporting, say, wind energy. We have the capacity to do that. We have the largest wind now investments in the country. Transmission lines will be done in about 24 months, right?
That's in your call, right?
It's not part of that. PRC and related ETA issues are on the call, but the investments and the strategies to get there are done. And New Mexico, quite frankly, is being looked at internationally as a leader in moving to an environmental and renewable energy system that makes sense for everyone, whether you're in a rural place or an urban place, and that you can actually export. And we know that we can use that energy here, but can you actually export it in the same way that you do fossil fuels? You want other countries to use their renewable energy, they have to see how states like, particularly a poor state like New Mexico, can make that pivot. But it can't be, as you said, a dollar for dollar. It's not the only economic shift. That's why we've got a 9 economic sector strategy. They are all growing, from aerospace to cybersecurity. And look what we've got. In this year, 15,000 plus jobs, right? That's more than in a couple of decades. We've been in the top 10 growing economies last several months, top 6 growing economies, in the top 10 economic growth for personal income, small business growth. U.S. News says best outdoor economic opportunities in the country. And there are states now, I can remember campaigning, why can't we be like Colorado? Why can't we be like Arizona? Well, now Colorado's got a whole lot to be jealous of, not just our chili. Our value-added ag is moving, hemp and pecans. We're leading the country in so many places. That's how you move from this juxtaposition. You have other reliable, diversified economic resources. We're now seeing people moving to New Mexico, not leaving New Mexico. And we've got real challenges still. Institutional poverty, child well-being, which is tied to that, public safety. But people see that New Mexico is making the right shifts towards solving its problems and investing in its future. I feel really good about, in 1 year, being able to make that kind of a shift. And we're going to keep doing that so that the challenges that we have get diminished year after year after year. And this is a leading state in any number of areas.
But the reason we're able to do that, in large part, is because we pull so much oil out of the ground.
It is.
And climate scientists are in agreement that we have to stop. And not
stop,
just
but
like
you also
stop
have to
by
deal with
2040.
methane. So the
Right.
folks who are doing this aren't doing methane, right? Which means we are going to hold you accountable for methane leaks, and we're looking ways to reuse methane. So I'm hopeful that in a year you invite me back. And maybe we'll be looking at brand new software that on your cell phone you're going to get an alert that tells you where a methane leak is in New Mexico, and it's also going to tell you how long it took us to get it out to get it stopped. And remember that oil and gas, which we know, no question, is responsible for climate change, but not by itself. So is the agricultural sector, so is the transportation sector. So I'm not just focused
But the
on methane
transportation
and
sector
cleaning.
is oil and gas, too. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but you have to do something about it, right? If you don't change the way in which we do transportation, then you haven't solved your reliance on oil and gas. So, and if you don't have more renewable energy and you have electric cars, then you're still generating electricity using fossil fuel and coal. You have to think about all of it, and strategically you have to deal with all of it. So we are one of the only states that's got a real serious healthy soils initiative. You know that soil captures more carbon than anything else. And simple stuff. We need to plant more trees. Expect our ag department to be embracing doing all of those things. We're not just going to let oil and gas be the place that we take that money, but we ignore that it's got to be cleaned up, held accountable, but all the other sectors have to be addressed simultaneously, or you're really not going to get to a place where you're dealing with climate change. And New Mexico's identified, and good for us, as an international leader in that effort. And the quicker we get to the places on all 3 sectors that make a difference, then we get to a place where we don't have to talk about oil and gas reliance.
I can hear the voice of our environmental reporter, Laura Paskeson, in my head saying, ask about water, ask about water. We had a great year last year, but what we saw was that it wasn't enough. I mean, it started to refill reservoirs.
Climate change, we are a drought-ridden, too hot state.
Yes.
We're not going to have enough.
We're only going to get hotter.
Laura is right.
Okay. So what's the plan? What does New Mexico need to do when we don't have a great water year? Do we need to move away from water-intensive crops? Do we need to buy water from farmers and say, like, look, we'll pay you to stop doing this?
So we got to look at all of it. Every idea has to be on the table, which is why our state engineer, John D'Antonio, is working on a 50-year water plan. And same thing, you have to have acute measures immediately, like our produced water effort, which means an independent academic institution is going to use innovation in science to make sure that we're not using fresh water in any industry, but why are we using fresh water in oil and gas? That doesn't make any sense when clearly we need it for ag and drinking water and business development and security for our future. So we're going to have to put every idea on the table, including brackish water. There are lots of countries, not the least of which are Spain and Israel, that do a much better job, not just at managing agricultural investments for water, but reusing wastewater. Well, we need to test that science here. We have 2 national labs who can figure out a ton of that on our behalf. They're staffed up. They're beginning to have the kind of resources to engage in any number of scientific achievements. All of the above. Now we have to do all of the above. And we have incredible brackish water reserves. What can we be doing with them? What kind of industries can benefit from that? And now with the pivot to different energy sources and newer technology, it's not as expensive and energy intensive. And the one thing that we didn't talk about water is New Mexico needs to clean up its water, which means meaningful work, and the Environment Department is on it to make sure that we finish what we started with the jet fuel spill, that we have to finish what we've started with PFAS and other fire retardant chemicals that are forever chemicals that are moving into freshwater supplies. So we're going to do all of it in the state and take seriously that even if you had all the water that you wanted, you cannot waste it, you can't mistreat it, and without water, there's nothing we can do.
Well, thanks for all your time. We know you have much more to do, but we hope to check in with you during the session and hopefully after as well.
Matt, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.